What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F122 My Team Career Mode. This time out we're going to be at the Monaco Grand Prix, and I have to say I'm slightly starting to warm up to this track after not really being a fan of it in previous games. We had a P9 finisher in Season 2, which was pretty good at the time. We weren't a particularly good car, we managed to sneak it into the points. And then in Season 3 we actually got a P2 podium finish here. So I'm hoping for something similar. We fire an employee who got caught in a social media shitstorm, and you know, you may not agree with that approach, but I don't really care about the optics of it. I just care about boosting team acclaim at all costs in this game. You know, I'm sure there's some people that will have their own opinions on whether you should apologize or fire your employee in that scenario, but at the end of the day, this is just a video game, and one of those things is much more beneficial to me. The acclaim is much more beneficial than the morale when we're trying to improve the money that the team is bringing in as soon as possible. So yeah, we're now moving on to signing secondary sponsors. We had a few on the car which weren't particularly beneficial to us, so now I'm looking at signing some which are hopefully going to be better for us. One of them is for achieving a podium finish, and then we're having a look at some of the other ones, which I was tempted to go with one of these two, which was scoring 20 constructors points during a weekend, but that requires both me and Théo to have a good result. 15 constructors points, on the other hand, requires just one of us to have a strong result. You know, we've been getting on the podium pretty consistently. We would have had one in Imola had it not been for the DNF. So I think, you know, more often than not, I don't see how both me and Théo are going to finish off the podium. You know what I mean? I think it's unlikely that we'll get many situations where both of us are going to be on the podium. But if his performance in Imola is anything to go by, which I'm hoping it is, then we could be seeing him have a have a few strong results. Potentially he can pick up the slack in a track I'm typically not too good at. But you know, maybe I've found my pace around Monaco now, and maybe we won't be having to worry about those kind of problems anymore. We have to pick a new rival. Instantly, I know who I'm picking. It's Charles Leclerc. He's the World Championship leader at the moment, double World Champion. And yeah, he's who I want to beat at the end of the day. It is maybe optimistic for me to pick him as my rival going into his home Grand Prix. But, you know, I think, you know, with the car that we've got, especially now that we've maxed out durability and everything, we literally cannot get more upgrades on the car until that last supplier upgrade on the engine comes through, which I think will be around the time of the British Grand Prix or thereabouts. And then there is nothing we can do to make the car faster. At that point, I have to ask myself about like difficulty level and stuff like that. Maybe you know, if we're not consistently challenging at the front, and maybe it's something to do with me, or maybe it's something to do with the game boosting the AI power to like ability to drive too much. I don't really know, because I know that does happen season on season. The AI gets stronger and stronger over the course of each season. I've never played beyond season 4, so I'm a little bit terrified to see what's going to happen beyond this season. Like I said, I think if that is to be believed, I think this might be my only chance to win the Drivers' World Championship, because you know I'm struggling against the AI a little bit, but I'm not. You know, at the end of the day, I have won 3 races out of the first 6, so yeah, I definitely think that we'll be able to do something. Really, it's just the car more than anything. I just really don't feel comfortable driving the car. I'm starting to wonder whether the setups that I had that worked quite well when we had a slower car perhaps don't work so well now that we have a stronger car. And perhaps I'll have to look at getting new setups to help improve things like traction. You know, we get so little traction out of the corners compared to the AI. We get so little braking performance compared to what you'd expect, and we're not even going that fast. But, you know, when I brake, if I you know, you guys know I play with dynamic racing line in the corners on. And if I brake where it tells me to brake, I overshoot the corner dramatically, and, you know, I really, really struggle. And you can't have that around Monaco. You know, I'm just really not confident in the car at all. Whereas, you know, in previous seasons, especially sort of Season 2 and most of Season 3 as well, I would say, I was really confident in the car. And that's like something you absolutely need. So yeah, I'm not anticipating that we're going to have a particularly strong qualifying here. If we can get through to Q3, I'll be happy. You know, as long as we can pick up a few points, I think Théo will surely be able to do that as well. Here we are in Q1. We're on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and we're going to see what kind of lap we can do as Gran Turismo 7 finishes updating there, as you can see. Let me know if you'd like to see any content on that game. But yeah, we do one run in Q1. I'm hoping that's going to be good enough to get us through to Q3. You know, we got a car that's much faster than at least 3 of the teams on the grid, so I see no reason why we shouldn't make it through. It's going to be hairy, actually, and we've been usurped by Oscar Piastri, of all people. He has decided to bang in a lap that is fast enough to knock me out of Q1, and we are the only driver making a shock exit in Q1. So, yeah, slightly embarrassing, actually. A bit of a blunder on my end. I was thinking that 1 lap would have been fast enough to get us through to Q2 at least. If I'd have gone for a second run, we probably would have been looking at a much stronger result there. But, you know, I can't change anything now. We've been outperformed by Charles Leclerc to kick things off in this rivalry, but we're going to see if we can. We're going to see if we can fight him back in the race. We'll be starting P17, which isn't fantastic, but maybe if there's a few penalties being applied up and down the grid, we might just about be able to fight back against some of these guys. And I mean, really, all I'm hoping for is that you know, we can at least sort of sneak into the points or something like that. Maybe we can do an alternative strategy, something like that. I don't really know. It's going to be really hard to overtake, even against cars that, you know, I'm faster than. I think anyone other than Piastri is going to be difficult to get past, because at the end of the day, you know, your Alpha Tauris, your Alfa Romeos, the Alpines, they all have significantly quick cars, even if they're, you know, not particularly fast drivers, and that's going to be enough to keep them ahead around Monaco. But now, anyway, it's time to get into the race.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Théo Pourchaire completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Ricciardo, George Russell and Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez and Fernando Alonso, Joe, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda and Lundgaard, Schwartzman, Oscar Piastri, Robinson and Lance Stroll, Albon, Magnussen, Latifi and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
The AI doing the sensible thing on this occasion, and nobody's actually taken any penalties. Théo Pourchaire is starting P2 at the Monaco Grand Prix. That is fantastic. If he can hold on to that position, then he has massively bailed us out of this race. You know, if he can stay on the podium, especially with Gasly starting behind him as well, I see no reason why he can't convert that P2. It's, you know, two Frenchmen in the top 3, not bad at all. And then I think Ocon's a lot further down the grid. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to be rooting for Pourchaire throughout pretty much the whole of this race. And I'm just going to be seeing if I can make up a few positions here. If I can get ahead of Tsunoda there in what is that, P13, that would be the ideal scenario. As the lights come on and the lights go out. And it's a decent start. I think we are going to be able to challenge Piastri here. You know, we have a little bit of a faster car. It looks like Schwartzman's having some issues as well, so I'm going to try and go up his inside as well. And yeah, at the end of the day, we actually lose out to all of these guys because I have to cut the track a bit. We still get a warning, even though we don't actually gain any advantage from it. So yeah, that was very unfortunate. I'm going to try and go up the inside. Piastri here, and now we're going to come down on the run to the hairpin and try and go around the outside of Lundgaard as well here, and we go into the back of Tsunoda a bit there, and we do actually make up the position on Lundgaard in the end, and it looks like the front wing has stayed pretty much intact, so yeah, that's pretty good for us. The front runners are already breaking away as they usually do, and now we're going to settle into a rhythm in this race and see if we can get ahead of Yuki Tsunoda in that AlphaTauri ahead to get up into P14, and yeah, maybe we can get ahead of Schwartzman as well in P13. P13 wouldn't be great, you know, it wouldn't even be a points finish, but maybe we'll get a taste of what it's like to be Théo Pourchaire in some of these races where he's failed to finish in the points. You need to be careful on the curbs, of course. You've seen it in pretty much every season I've driven around here, that I always get floor damage here at the Monaco Grand Prix. So yeah, we've had a pretty decent start, but now we're going to try and move forward in this race if we can. As we move on to lap 5. We're now going to try and get ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. I'm trying to find a position where I feel like I can be consistently faster than these guys, and I'm really not sure where that is at the moment, you know? Like, I think roughly we have about the same pace as these guys. It's just at vastly different points in the lap. You know, unsurprisingly, there's certain places where I'm very fast, primarily sort of slow corners, like the hairpin and like the right-hander before the hairpin. I don't know the names of some of the corners. I think this one down here that we're going through now is Portier, if I remember correctly. And yeah, we couldn't really see anywhere to get ahead of Tsunoda. He's faster on the exit of Portier, so he's basically breaking away on the exit of any corner where there's sort of a long acceleration zone. And that's a few places here. The run up past Saint-Devote is a pretty good example of somewhere where he's just been breaking away from us significantly. We're going to try and go around the outside at the hairpin here, but we don't have the grip for it on this occasion. And now as we come onto lap 13, we're going to try and get ahead of him in the same position again. We're a lot closer this time. We're going to actually dive up the inside there, and we go really slowly through the hairpin, but we do pull off the move. And now we're going to try and catch up with Schwartzman ahead and see if we can do the same to him. And if we can get into that coveted P13 position, I think that would be a fantastic outcome for this race. We move forward onto lap 18, and we're now coming into the pits. We're going to be fitting a set of hard compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. It's a pretty open and shut strategy here at Monaco. If you do anything other than a one-stop, you're completely screwed. If you're anything other than what is the actual strategy, you're probably screwed. You know, I've seen it before in previous games where it's been alternate strategies. You know, some people have gone either soft hard or medium hard, and then the others have gone either hard soft or hard medium. And anyone who starts on the hards ends up leading the race at some point and holding up the cars behind to an almost unforgivable level. So I actually had a race once where I think I got P2 because Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo was out in front, and because he started on the hard tyres, and he was holding up everyone, and I was the only person that was capable of making overtakes as they were being held up in a big long train, and so I went from like P6 to P2 in the end, and yeah, that was a really solid result here at the Monaco Grand Prix. As you saw there maybe briefly, I have a bit of floor damage just from running over the curbs a little bit, and I wonder if that's hindering me in this battle with Schwartzman slightly. I still haven't really made any progress in front of him, and we're going to see if we can try and get ahead of him maybe in the same place that we got ahead of Tsunoda. It seems like this is the place that we're probably the fastest, but I still don't think we're particularly fast, unfortunately. You know, I think Schwartzman is starting to get to that point. It's his, I guess, 4th season in Formula 1 now. He was here in Season 1, the second half of Season 1 at least, for our team, and then he joined Alfa Romeo full-time at the start of Season 2 to partner Zhou Guanyu, who then went off to Haas in Season 3. So he was partnered by Lundgaard, who was also a former teammate of mine, and yeah, that's been their driver lineup for the whole of Season 3, and it seems like probably all of Season 4, I would imagine, as well. Lap 26, we're going to have a look at where Leclerc is, and he's currently in P8, so he hasn't actually made any progress through this race, which is very encouraging to see. It means that we're not actually going to drop many points to him, and not only that, Théo Pourchaire is still being in P2, and I think Sainz is in P7 if I'm not mistaken. So Ferrari are only going to be scoring, what is that, 10 points, and Pourchaire is going to be scoring 18. So we're actually outscoring them in the constructors fight as well. The leader of this race is still Norris, and I'd be surprised if anyone other than him wins it at this point. But yeah, we're going to try and do everything we can to just get into P13. I felt like maybe if we had overtaken Schwartzman earlier, we might have been able to catch up with Esteban Ocon as well, but I've become increasingly convinced that's probably not going to happen. We're just a sitting duck, to be honest. You know, there's nothing we can really do here, as we try to look for any which way we can to get through Schwartzman, but there just wasn't any way. He was just a bit too fast in the places that I would try and overtake him. So yeah, we end up losing out. And we've only got one more lap to try and get through, but I don't think it's going to be possible. You know, it's been a very typical Monaco Grand Prix. You may think that this has been a bit of a shorter race compared to what you're used to. As I bounced off the wall there, you see the floor damage has been even more exacerbated than usual. But yeah, very typical Monaco Grand Prix, all things considered. So whilst it is a shorter video, I didn't think there was much point trying to, like, I don't know, bait you guys in with some kind of fake suspense that never actually pays off because I'm not able to make up these positions. The truth is that after lap 1 I only made one overtake, and that is pretty good for a Monaco Grand Prix, to be honest. So yeah, next time, the moral of the story is don't get cocky in qualifying in Monaco, because it will come back to haunt you. Season 5, I'm definitely doing 2 runs here. I can pretty much guarantee that, and yeah, you guys can hold me to that. Remind me when it's coming up as we cross the line to take P14 in this Grand Prix. It's not been a good one. It was all undone before the race even began. As soon as qualifying was over, I think my fate was sealed. But hopefully we can bounce back soon and strong in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
They've won here in Monaco with an emphatic performance and a victory they can be proud of for many years to come.
And once again, that glitch where cars plough into the back of the podium finishes has not been fixed.
How do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Speed. That's Anthony Davidson's middle name.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
Man of the hour, Théo Pourchaire, P2, 18 points for the team. A fantastic result for him. Obviously pipped by Norris to the win, but you know, his first podium in Formula 1, and it comes on only his 7th race. So he's already had a pole and a podium in 7 races. That's pretty strong going by him, and hopefully he can build on this and get stronger as the season progresses. You know, if he can maybe have a win by the end of the season, that would be absolutely fantastic. And we'll see if he can support our constructors' efforts.
Time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So, we retain our P2 in the Drivers' Championship, we retain P2 in the Constructors' Championship, but we're definitely going to be under threat if we have too many more races like that, so we need to really get our act together come Baku, and we'll see if we can have a strong result there. I'm hoping for a win, but even a podium would be good. You know, as long as we can outperform Leclerc, That's really all I care about. So if Leclerc is on the podium, I want to be further ahead on the podium, and if Leclerc is off the podium, I want to just be on the podium. You know, really regain those points against him now. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to have a particularly good race in Canada. It's not one of my strong tracks. Last time we were fighting with Schwartzman all race. I mean, we were fighting with Schwartzman all race in this race as well, but that's besides the point. You know, if I can get sort of top 6 in Canada, I'll be pretty happy with that. That's usually about as good as that race goes for me. And then we're moving into my my stronger tracks. You know, the Britons, the Austrias, the Frances. Hungary is a bit of an outlier. Then you got the trio of European races that I love dearly: Belgium, Zandvoort, and Monza. I don't know why I say I love dearly. I'm not really a fan of Zandvoort, but Belgium I love, and Monza is pretty fun as well. And if we can pick up some good results in those Grand Prix, we could be on for a really good season. You know, I think we're gonna fall behind Leclerc a little bit, maybe even be behind at the halfway point and the summer break of the season. But I think in the second half of the season, after we come back from the summer break, I think that is when I'm going to really kick this championship into overdrive, and I'm going to try and grab as many wins as I can in the second half. You know, there's a lot of stronger tracks that I've got at the end of the season as well. The USA is good for me, Mexico is good for me, Brazil is really strong for me, Abu Dhabi's back on the calendar this year, and that goes really well. So as they say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And whilst we may be behind at the moment, we certainly are not out. We are down, but we are not out. So I'm still in a position where I can definitely win this championship with a bit more luck. I think we're only about 19 points down on Leclerc at the moment. He picked up a few obviously in this race, and that's going to mean that it's difficult for us to fight him back anytime soon. But like I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I really do feel that we still have the potential to do great things in this championship. Not only that, I also feel that Pourchaire has the potential to do really great things in this championship. If he can get his act together, if he can improve his consistency, start finishing in the top 5 a lot more often, you know, he could be looking at a strong season as well, maybe targeting sort of P3, P4 in the constructors, or in the drivers rather, maybe even with a win, who knows. But you know, we're not going to count our chickens before they've hatched. In that regard, we did too much damage to the car to get any kind of bonus away from it, but at least Pourchaire got some, and we're up to 5 mil, which means we're not too far away from being able to do another personnel upgrade. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.